In this power struggle of the werewolf pack, am I the treasure they fight for? Or the true king? When the conspiracy is exposed, and a once beloved turns into a deadly threat, how should I respond? Cling to power or take a chance? Come with me to uncover the truth behind this struggle. Chapter 35. I didn't want him to mock me like this. I had always wanted him to mock me, but not like this. I wanted it when we were making out to him, making me not this. Don't do this, Damon. You have no right to. I don't belong to you. I told him. His canine brushed my neck, and when I was thinking he'd mock me, he took a step back. You're right. I'm sorry for being a bother to you. He sounded so hurt. His eyes were normal now. I don't think I ever told you that, but if you want to assume nonsense, you're free to. I said, taking his shirt with me, walking out of the room, and he didn't try to stop me. I stayed awake through the night. I don't just know why I couldn't fall asleep. I was in the kitchen sipping coffee when 𝐊𝐤𝐬𝐑𝐚 walked in a lacy red nightgown. Good morning. How was your night? I loved mine. Damon is simply the best, especially in bed, she excitedly said. So he called her in after I left. He's not even remorseful and still goes back to her. Don't be quick to judge. If he had anything to do with her, you'd have felt it. She's only lying. I heard my wolf say, seeing that I had pushed her away since. He takes care of me so well, even being gentle because of the baby. It was obvious she was lying now. What if she was lying about the baby too? She was kissing me off and it was working. I held on to the mug tightly. I so wanted to spill the coffee on her. So, when are you leaving? I mean, you should have been out of here by now. He's mine anyway, so don't bother with him. You don't stand a chance, she said in a bitchy tone. Shut the hell up. I shouted angrily, hitting the mug on the table. The only one not supposed to be here is you, and he's mine, not yours. Or the one who doesn't stand a chance, I said, smirking. She was totally stupid. I can't believe she had nearly manipulated me into thinking what she wanted me to. Please. He likes me and he's going to make me his Luna as soon as possible, and we'd leather without rogues like you to separate us. I don't know why I even got jealous, or maybe I did it out of anger, but I pushed her hard against the wall. I'm supposed to be good Luna, carry his child, but she's trying to steal him from me, and I wouldn't let her. For some reason I remembered Hilda's words. Someone wants what you have and would stop at nothing to get what they want. Could it be 𝐊𝐤𝐬𝐸? If she's the one, she's crazy to think I'd let her have him. I won't let him go. Damon is mine. Only mine. You're not going to take him away from me, no matter how hard you try. You're not going to be his Luna, I said, nearly strangling her. Let's wait and see then. We'd see who he'd be with, she said, smirking. If she was up to something, she has no idea who she's dealing with me. He's mine, not yours. Never will be, I said, smirking. Your charms wouldn't work on him, you filthy thing. Nothing matches a sweet seduction from a sexy girl, she said, and I laughed. Oh my gosh. She thinks she's sexy. If you're sexy, then a stick isn't why you might seduce him. I don't have to bother. He's still going to be mine no matter what you think or say, she said, and I just rolled my eyes. It was taking everything within me not to kill her and her baby. I couldn't stay here any longer before she leaves here a corpse. I went back to the room, did all the necessary things. I laid on the bed thinking, what if Damon wasn't lying? I woke up feeling hungry. I walked around the house just to take my mind off things. I heard some voices and decided to listen. She slapped me, Damon. That filthy thing touched me, and she nearly killed me and our baby. Look what she did to my neck. She also told me that I can't be your Luna. She complained, crying. How pathetic. She wasn't wrong. I don't know where you're getting all these ideas from, but you're never going to be my Luna. It's not our baby. It's your baby. You might afford Lee to think I'm the father, but I know fully well that I'm not, and if I hear you call her a thing, you'd spend nights in cell. Damon threatened 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬. You're taking her side. What has she done to you? You hated rogues. Not her. I'm going to keep taking her side, 𝐊𝐤𝐬𝐸. Stop all these nonsense. Go find the father of your child and don't ruin my life, because if things with Lee don't turn out well, you may as well just prepare your grave, he coldly said, walking away. What does she mean to you? 𝐊𝐤𝐬𝐸 angrily asked, shouting. Everything. She means everything to me. Damon stopped to answer, and the look in his eyes with the way he sounded made me want to cry and just hug him. He cares. I mean something to him. I just let her get to me like that. What have I done? I need to apologize to him. I went back to the kitchen thinking of how to get Damon back, and because I was hungry, I sat down on the stool thinking, could Damon and I work out? Does he love me? My emotions were just jumbled up. His scent washed over me, and I turned to see him behind me. He looked frustrated and angry. Our eyes locked, and I so wanted to take my eyes off him, but I couldn't. His green eyes are so beautiful. Just looking at them is hypnotizing. I started to feel all his emotions. He was angry and hurt. I knew I was the reason why he was hurt, because I didn't believe him. Because I threatened to leave him. Guilt washed over me, and I felt bad for causing him pain. I wanted to go to him, hug him and tell him I'm sorry, but what about me? I wanted him to tell me that everything would be fine and it would just be both of us. He walked over to me and wrapped his hands around me from behind. Please don't push me out, Lee. Don't leave me. Why don't you want me to leave? I love you, Lee. I can't live without you. I don't want to lose you, especially to 𝐿𝐲𝐳. He loves me. My heart was beating hard in my chest. He declared his love for me. I was beyond happy to know that he loves me. You have to believe, Lee. That's all I'm asking of you. For you to trust me. I made a grave mistake by sleeping with 𝐿𝐲𝐳 after I met you, and no amount of apology would make up for that. I do regret it, Lee. Day and night, especially after seeing this, is what she's using to ruin us, and I don't want that to happen. Trust me, Lee. Please. The sincerity in his voice almost made me cry. He was literally begging me to trust him. I could feel his regret, sadness and pain. I'd be a fool not to believe him. I trust you now, Damon. I should have a long time ago, but I was blinded by anger. I know that's not an excuse. I'm so sorry, especially for all the things I said to you. I said, wrapping my arms around him, it's okay now. Everything's going to be fine now. He said, holding me tighter. I'm sorry for not trusting you. I said, and he didn't say anything for a while. I know that's what hurt him the most, and I felt bad. I shouldn't have let my anger consume me. I should have listened to him, but I was quick to judge. I was hurt, Lee. You couldn't even trust me or believe me. You spoke up. The way his voice showed how hurt he was made me feel more guilty, and I wanted to cry. I promised to help him, but when something came, I ran away. I'm sorry, Damon. I apologized, tears spilling from my eyes. I know you must have been disappointed in me. I didn't trust you. I'm so sorry. I said, crying. I was just realizing the gravity of my mistake. I'd have felt shattered if the tables were turned. I probably wouldn't forgive him. You don't have to cry, Lee, he said, placing his palm on my cheeks, using his thumb to wipe my tears. Everything is fine now. I promise I'm not even mad at you. How can he forgive me like that? I would have given him a tough time before even thinking of listening to him. I'm the one ruining this relationship, and I have to stop that because I really want our relationship to work. I want to be the perfect mate for you, but it seems like I'm ruining it. I've hurt you and I'm sorry. You're not perfect, Lee, so don't worry. We're not perfect, no one is. I know I've not been the perfect mate to you either. As long as we're here, we can work things out, so don't give up on us, Lee. Don't leave me. I won't leave you, Damon. He smiled before taking my lips. I had missed his lips on mine. His touch that was sending different sparks to different part of my body. He was kissing me slowly, taking his time, ravishing me as if he couldn't get enough of me. We were in the room laying on the bed when Damon brought out something. It was a red box. He opened it and it was a bracelet. It was a black bracelet with a heart-shaped diamond. It was simple yet beautiful. It's lovely, I said, smiling, and he put the bracelet on my wrist. I should have given it to you for a while, he said slowly. So what stopped you? I just wanted to give it to you at a time I know you would reject it, he answered, and I laughed. Was I that mean to him? You should have given it to me anyway, I said, and he just nodded. There's something I want to tell you, he said, and I leaned closer, looking up at him. He sighed heavily before starting. The girl who shot me, she's 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐷. Chapter 36. I didn't know what to say. I was beyond speechless. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she's the sister you thought was dead, right? Yes, he answered, nodding. It seems he still found it hard to believe. Does she recognize you? How do you feel about seeing her? She does. I'm happy to see her, but she doesn't want to have anything to do with me, he said sadly and sighed. Are you sure she's the one though? What if someone's playing a trick on you? People ask for witches' help to do these things, and someone that knows about them might have disguised as 𝐿𝐲. I'm sure she is. There's a birthmark we both have. She has it. Was it that crescent-shaped birthmark? Is it the one you have on your chest? I asked, and he didn't reply. You're asking too much questions, Lee. And that's how we ended the conversation. How is one question too many? I decided to just let it go. So what do you want to do? I curiously asked. I have a lot of things to do, Lee. I don't even know what to do. He sounded so frustrated. Being the alpha was stressful. I didn't even see my dad often. Just do the one you think is important. You can go back to the others later. I advised, and he nodded, saying he'd do just that. I didn't want to bother him again, but just remembered something. Oh my gosh. Is she Chase's mate? Yes, she is, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She's being so stubborn, he complained. She'd come through. Maybe she's mad at you. You just have to talk to her. I will, but right now, let's sleep. Today has been stressful. I'm so happy that we were okay now, I said, and he smiled. I'm the happiest, he said, smiling. He doesn't smile often, but when he does, it drives me crazy and make me happy. Good night to 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿, he said, kissing my head as we cuddled. I couldn't stop smiling as I fell asleep. It was the middle of the night. I woke up and Damon wasn't beside me. I checked around the room but still couldn't find him. I decided to check around following his scent. I stopped when I heard voices. 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you there, forgive me. We will leave together now. I don't want to have anything to do with you, and for the last time, I am not 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿, I am not your sister. 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿, listen to me. You have to understand. Understand what exactly? I hate you, Damon. You didn't care about me, you left me there. Don't say that. I care about you. You're my sister, the only family I have, and I swear to you I came back for you. Damon said, then he sounded like he wanted to cry. Oh look, we have company, she said, and I realized I had just been caught. Greatly. What are you doing here? He asked a bit angrily. I'm sorry. I couldn't find you in bed and just followed your scent here. I answered honestly. Ah, she's your mate. You've not marked her? She asked and laughed. She looked at me from top to bottom. I know you. I've seen your face, 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿. How would she know me? Oh, this is interesting. You're 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿's sister, she said, smiling devilishly. You're really popular. There's a bounty on your head and I'm going to get it. Before I could ask what she meant, the cell was first open. She lunged towards me and Damon pushed her away. Stay away from her. Let me go, she ordered angrily, her eyes changing color to read. What's wrong with her? Calm down, Damon ordered angrily. She's going to die, Damon. I can see it. Her doom is here. Was she a seer now? She's confusing me. She seemed normal now. Nothing's going to happen to her. I'd make sure of that. You would, but we both know you can't, she said, and Damon just sighed. Let's not talk about that. I give you a room. You're made to sleep, Damon said, stroking her. I missed you, Damon, she said, and I could see a tear slip from her eyes. Was she bipolar? I missed you, 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿, every day, he said, wiping the tears. This is awkward. I'm happy that they're okay now. She might be nice. Lee, go back upstairs, please. I take 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐿 to her room, he said, and I nodded. I got into the room and all the windows were open. I looked around hoping no one was there. I searched the room hoping to find something, and I did. It was on the table, a small white paper with a message that read, "And on the day the moon covers the sun, I would wait for her heart hide burn." I was scared. A gush of wind blew and I shivered. Then on that day I'd wait. I tried to make light of the situation. I didn't know law and they could rhyme. I started closing the windows and just then Damon entered. He looked a bit okay now. There was a small smile on his face that made me happy. I didn't want him to know about the letter. I didn't want him to worry. He had a lot of things he was worried about as it is. "Lee, I asked you what you're holding," he said, walking closer to me. "How's Arya? Is she sleeping now?" I asked. Don't avoid my question, he said coldly. We just made up and I promised not to ruin this. It's a letter, probably from 𝐿𝐸, I said, giving it to him. His body shook as he read it. I could see how angry he was, and I knew also that he was scared. Are you okay? Was anyone here when you got in? How did she even manage to get in? He was angry, and so I walked up to him, kissing his cheeks and taking his hands. I'm okay, Damon. No one was here. I'm not going to lose you, Lee. No matter what happens, before I let anything happen to you. Don't say that. You know what, let's just sleep, I said, taking his hands, leading him to the bed. Once we laid down, he put his hands around me tightly. I'd fight for you, Lee. As long as I'm alive, I'd not let anything happen to you, he said, caressing my face. I know that, Damon, so now let's sleep, I said, and he sighed. What he didn't know was that I was the one that needed to protect him, because she'd start from the people I love most. Oh my gosh. I love Damon. I haven't even realized it. I love him and he loves me. I decided to say it before it was too late. I love you, Damon, I said, and his head shot up. I know, he said, smiling, and I smiled. How do you even know? I just realized it, I complained. He just shrugged. Go to sleep, Mirina, he said, and I smiled. You never told me what it means, I said, drawing circles on his chest. It means my queen, he answered, smiling, and my heart did a somersault. And you're my king, I said, and he said he was my one and only, before pulling me into a kiss. The next morning I woke up with a smile on my, remembered other things. I nearly had it. I looked around me. Damon was not beside me, and I pouted. I wanted to see his face first thing in the morning when I wake up. Good morning, my queen. Damon walked in with a tray of food, and I automatically smiled. It was thoughtful of him too. It's nice seeing him like this, but knowing we had few days together broke my heart. I was finally going to be happy. Good morning to you, to my king, I said, and he smiled widely. I got you breakfast. I noticed you really didn't eat yesterday, he said, and I smiled. I love him. You're thinking about me, aren't you? He asked with a smirk. As if. Why would you even think that? You are smiling too much, and your eyes are glinting, staring into mine, and you look so happy. I am happy, Damon, really happy. You have no idea how hearing you say that makes me so happy. I finally made you happy and would devote my life to making you happy. The sincerity and love in his tone nearly made me cry. I wish we had more time. I love you, Lee. I love you, to Damon, I said, and just when I thought in the kiss we pulled out. I know I did, because of morning breath, and a glint in his eyes made me realize he was teasing me. I laughed before going to the bathroom. Today has a great start. I hope it had a great ending. Chapter 37. Damon. I were currently in a restaurant having dinner. It was our first date, and I was so excited. Maybe he might even mark me tonight. I was looking forward to it. We were both talking about our childhood, things we didn't know about each other, and he found out my birthday was a week away. He had said something about throwing me a party, but I denied the offer. I hate my birthday. It was the day my life was ruined. After dinner we went back home. Surprisingly, the dinner went well. I was half expecting 𝐿𝐸 to show up, but I'm glad she didn't. Damon and I were kissing furiously now. He pushed me to the bed and laid on top of me, and my wolf was squealing in happiness. He started trailing my body with kisses, and the pleasure was beyond expiation. Why didn't we do this since? Lee, you have no idea how much I want you, he said, sucking my neck. Then have me, Damon. I surrendered myself to him, and our making out got deeper. I want this. To be mated to him. To have his mark on my neck. For him to have me where no one else has. And just when I thought he was going to mark me, he stepped away from me. What now? If this was 𝐿𝐸 playing jokes on me, I won't forgive her for it. What's wrong? I asked, worried, sitting upright. I can't do this yet. I'm sorry. I want to do this when the time is right, he said calmly. And when exactly is it going to be right? When I'm dead? I questioned angrily. I wanted him to mark me. My whole body was white, craving him. His scent was driving me crazy, and I wanted more than anything to have his mark, knowing he belonged to me. I wanted him to mark me and mate with me. At least I deserved that experience. Don't talk like that. He moved closer to me, kissing my cheeks. I just want to make this special for you. I don't want to do anything you'd regret later. I certainly wouldn't regret you marking me Damon. I feel you're hiding something from me. I don't have a problem with you marking me now. You do, I stated angrily. I know some would think I'm overreacting, but I'm not. How much more am I going to wait? We wanted each other. Why can't we just have each other then? Believe me, I want to mark you, Lee. But, I aired sadly. Never mind. I don't want to know. And I thought this night was going to be different. Now you're mad at me, he said, taking my hands, which I pulled away from him. Well, I thought it was going to be different too. I want you, Damon. I don't know if you're doubting that, but I'm sure that I need you, and this isn't fueled by my fear of dying. I admitted Ezon. I admitted smile on his face. I want you in every possible way, and I'm going to make you mine soon. I just want it to be special for you, he said, and I just nodded, not wanting to argue further. Today would have been special for me if he had. I'd go wash up now, I said, heading to the bathroom, but before I left he kissed my head and gave me a small smile. Once in, I decided not to think about anything and just let the water soothe me. I came out and Damon was nowhere to be seen. I was tired and still a little bit mad, so I let him be. The next morning I woke up wrapped around Damon. I didn't even know when he came in last night. I snuggled deeper, inhaling his scent. I couldn't help but wonder how far we'd have gone in our relationship if we weren't so stubborn at first. Good morning, beautiful, he greeted with a wide smile on his face. It made me smile too. We got ready for the day, then went downstairs. Everyone was gathered around the table talking. It made me smile. Chase and Daria seemed to be getting along, if the way he held and looked at her was anything to go by. Arya was actually nice. We talked well, being the only girls in the group. We shared our experience and struggles with each other, and I got to learn a lot about her and Damon. I know for a fact that they loved each other, and I envied them. They were so attentive to each other, cared about each other, whereas my sister is planning to kill me somewhere. Why don't we all go out this Saturday? Arya suggested. Great. We could also celebrate Lee's birthday. Jonathan quipped in. I don't want to. You guys know how I feel about my birthday, I said, denouncing the idea. It was the day you were born. The day the moon goddess blessed me with you. It's worth celebrating. If you wouldn't celebrate, then let me. Because I'm grateful that you were born. The way he sounded made me almost cry, but I smile instead and hug him. Although that doesn't mean I'm celebrating anything. Come on. You're the Luna. We can announce you as one then, and everyone would get to know you. You've never really met people in the pack, Chase said, and although his plan was convincing, I wasn't giving in. Let's not pressure her about anything, Sam added. They just nodded and we continued talking about anything. Damon had to leave for a pack meeting. Chase and Arya left for their room, leaving me with just Sam and Jonathan, the two people I badly need to talk to. I told them about the letter, and Jonathan panicked while Sam still kept his face neutral. What do we do? We're no longer safe here, Jonathan stated. I know. That's why I'm suggesting we leave. I don't want to get Damon and his pack in this, I said calmly. I didn't want people to die because of me. I wouldn't forgive myself for that. It's that what you really want? Sam questioned carefully. Yes, I've thought about it carefully. That way Damon doesn't get hurt, and since we've not made it or marked, it would be easier for him to move on if something happens to me. If I stay, he'd put himself on the stake for my sake, I said softly. Thinking about leaving him was already hurting, but I had to do this for the both of us. So when do we leave? Jonathan asked. On Saturday. Seriously, Lee? On your birthday? He just told you that it means something to him. You can't just leave him then, Jonathan exclaimed. I'm getting this negative vibes about the birthday. I don't want this one to be worse than the rest, I divulged. It wouldn't be. It could be the best. You're just so pessimistic. Sand. Well, that's coming from a guy who taught me to never get my hopes high and always expect the worst, I retorted. Why your birthday, Lee? Why not sooner? Jonathan asked, and I turned my attention to him. I want to end it the day it all began. Chapter 38. It was the day that I dreaded more than anything. My birthday. I woke up with a sad and bad feeling in my gut. It will be a miracle if this day goes well. Damon pulled me close to him, giving me a kiss on the forehead. "Happy birthday, love," he said, and I smiled. Usually I hated hearing that cause I was never happy on that day, so why tell me happy birthday? There was something about the way he said it that made me smile and secretly wish the day went happily. "So what do you want to do today?" "I'd do anything you want me to," he asked excitedly, and I cupped his face, staring deeply into his emerald green eyes. "One that I have come to love. I just want you to be happy and not to forget that I love you." I smiled sadly. That was all I wanted from him right now. "You're not going to leave me, Lee. I wouldn't allow it, so don't try it," he warned in a strict tone. "You're mine forever." He placed me on top of him, then kissed my head. "No one is going to take you away from me, neither would you leave me. If you want me to be happy, then just be happy because you are my happiness. Stay with me. Don't leave me, and I can guarantee you that I'd be happy for the rest of my life." "Oh, Damon," I said, burying my head in his chest. I couldn't stop the tears from flowing. Why was he making this hard for me? Why do I feel like I'd be betraying him by leaving? All I wanted was for him to live. I wouldn't bear it if I lost someone close to my heart. "I love you, Lee," he said, stroking my hair, and the sincerity in his voice made my heart clench. How on earth did my life get to this? "I won't let her hurt you, Lee. She'd have to kill me before she touches even a strand of your hair," he protectively said, and I didn't doubt that he would do that. "I'm not going to let her hurt you, Damon. If she wants me, she gets me, not anyone else. I don't want you involved in this. I don't want anything to happen to you, Damon," I cried, saying. "And nothing will. I got involved in this the moment I realized I was your mate. I'm going to stand by you, Lee," he said, and I cried further. For months ago I'd have laughed if someone told me Damon was capable of saying words like this, but here he's melting my heart, still yet hardening it. I was at crossroads. I think the best thing to do for now was just to avoid the topic. "I love you to Damon," I said, and I just stayed in his arms for a while, him holding me as if he was scared to let go and me savoring the moment. I left him to go get ready for the day. I did all the necessary, and while I stood in front of the mirror brushing my hair, I had a terrible déjà vu back to the time when my hair was once night black, now as white as snow. Oh, what a contrast. A tear slipped out my eyes. I wasn't one to cry, and seeing myself cry this way disturbed me. Other birthdays has never been like this. I merely even paid attention to the day, but this. I was remembering every single detail that happened 2 years ago. I got out of the bathroom all dressed in a big blue shirt. I went out to see Dame, and holding a tray of food, and my mouth watered, but it wasn't only just for the food. He had a grin on his face, and he looked handsome as usual. He seemed to have had his bath because he smelt fresh. His cologne was intoxicating, or was it his soap? "Happy birthday, my queen," he said, pulling me close to him, and the electricity that rushed through me was terrifying. I wanted him bad. Was I the only one that felt this way? Surely he should have taken me by now if he felt a teeny bit of what I felt. "You already told me before." I wrapped my arms and neck, my head touching his. "I just want to tell you so that it will stick in your head that you can be happy." "And how do you intend on making me happy, Alpha?" I asked wickedly. "I have a lot of things in mind, Luna," he said, claiming my lips. After our make-out session we ate. He had made my favorite food, and it made me feel special that he was making an effort to make me happy, and I think it's working. Just after we had breakfast, Sam, Jonathan, Chase and Arya walked in. Sam with a cake, Arya and Jonathan with a 2-inch hero balloon respectively, while Chase held a bottle of champagne. Before I could ask what they were doing, they started singing Happy Birthday, and that moment I felt happy. "Happy birthday, Lee," they chorused, taking turns to hug me, after which they gave me the cake. "Make a wish." Arya beamed. I made a wish and smiled. If wishes could come true, I hope mine would. "What did you wish for?" Damon whispered in my ear. "If I tell you, it wouldn't come to pass, would it?" I whispered in his ear, slightly grazing it with my tongue though. "I could make it come," he whispered, nibbling on my ear. "Guys, we're still here," Jonathan said, waving his hands to prove his point. Damon said, sucking my neck, looking straight at me. "I get you guys want to eat each other, but some of us actually want to eat the cake, you know," Chase said playfully, although he sounded serious. Arya handed me the knife and I took out a piece. Soon we were eating and drinking champagne while talking. It felt nice. They stayed for an hour and they left, leaving just me and Damon. We talked till I fell asleep in his arms. When I woke up he was wide awake. He looked like he was lost in thoughts. "What's wrong?" I asked, and he smiled. "Go out on a date with me tonight," he said, kissing my nose. "Of course I will," I said, smiling, and he did too. "Great. Go get ready," he said, leaving the room. I got into the bathroom and had a quick breath bath. I stepped out of the bathroom in a towel, and when I got to the room there was a lovely black dress on the bed with a letter. "Happy birthday to Sora. I got you this as a gift. Wear it tonight." I smiled, putting on the cloth. It fitted me perfectly and I smiled. This date was going to be my last meeting with Damon. I wore black heels, did makeup to look extra pretty, and went outside to where Damon was waiting for me. "You're so beautiful, mi reina." He kissed my cheeks. "The cloth looks lovely on you. When did you have time to buy it?" Chapter 39. "So you didn't get me the gown?" she asked, just to be sure. Damon, not wanting her to start worrying, just laughed. "It's just a joke, Lee. You should have seen your face." "Very funny, Damon. Don't joke about things like that." She angrily said, "I'm sorry, Lee. You should just relax," he said, patting her back. "It's not that easy," she said, sighing. "It is." "Don't worry, okay, everything is fine," he said, smiling. "I have a surprise for you." "What's it?" she asked, letting out a small smile. He opened the door at which they stood in front of, and it was completely dark. "Damon, what are you trying to do?" she asked, a bit scared. He couldn't kill her, could he? It was when she heard the excited voices shout, surprised, she realized he had thrown a birthday party for her despite how she told him not to. "Damon, I thought I told you not to throw a party. I just want you to have fun," he said, placing something around my eyes. I looked around and everyone else had it. It was like a masquerade ball. At least no one would really recognize me. At the farthest corner of the room they stood, accessing the Alpha's Luna. This was the first time they were seeing her well for some, but they couldn't really recognize her. "Happy birthday, Lee," Sam and Jonathan congratulated, hugging her. "As if the number of times I hear happy would make me happy." "You're such a party popper," Jonathan said, leaving to enjoy the party. "So are we still leaving?" Sam asked. Of course. "I don't want to put his pack at risk, Sam." "I understand. We got the plan information," said, leaving. She looked around the room. There were securities at every corner, every door. Damon was talking to Arya, and they seemed to have been in a very serious conversation. She took it as her cue to walk away. She had not gone far when Chase stopped her, handing her a drink. "Come on, let's toast to a good life," he gave her as she drank, not wanting to stay any further. Damon went up to the stage, a glass in his hands. "I'd like to thank everyone for coming. Let's make a toast to my Luna, to good health and long life." Everyone collected a drink from the waiters and waitresses, handing out drinks, and she collected again. She could even say an amen to the toast. She took the drink in one long gulp and continued walking. She felt a hand around her, and from the tingle she knew it was Damon. He nibbled on her neck, kissing her softly. "How about we go cut the cake and get out of here?" he asked, standing in front of her, smiling. She wanted to say no to that, but she could at least stay to eat the cake and leave immediately. No exceptions after that. They walked to where the cake was. It was a big blue cake. She cut the cake and ate it. "We have to leave now if we want to leave," Sam whispered in my ear. He took my hands and we began walking through the crowd. Just as we were about to pass through the door, Arya stopped us. "Come on, what's with them? And where are you both going to?" she asked. "I want to give Lee my gift to her," Sam answered. She looked at us suspiciously but said nothing, leaving. Suddenly, my head started spinning. I was losing balance. I turned to look at Sam. It seemed as if it was affecting him. Looking around, I turned to see everyone was like that. All the lights went off and I could faintly hear Damon call my name weakly. Bodies were on the floor unconscious, and soon I joined, falling on the floor. Chapter 40. I woke up in an extremely dark room. Scanning the room, I realized it was empty. I looked down at myself only to realize I was tied with silver chains. Great. Lauren Day was able to get to me before I could escape. I heard voices outside, and I waited expecting to see Lauren Day, but the person I saw shocked me terribly. It was Damon's beta, the one Damon had embarrassed. So this is what this is about. You're shocked to see me, oh precious rogue Luna. He smiled, devil's 𝐊𝐿𝐬. At this point, I don't think I am. So what's your deal? Law and they put you to it, or the big bad beta couldn't take a punch? I asked in a mocking way. I deserve to be alpha, not you stupid mate. He angrily said, throwing a stone at me, and I laughed, hiding the pain. So you're jealous then? That's what this is about. Seriously. I couldn't believe it. I was tied to a chair with a silver chain because someone was jealous and wanted revenge. I'm going to make you all pay. He angrily said. And how do you intend to do that? Keep me here forever. I mocked. Do you know how crazy Damon is right now? It has been 2 weeks since he saw his beloved. Add 1 more week to that and he'd lose it completely. He's barely functioning now. The council will have to take him down, and guess who they put in his place? That's right, me. Wow, I'd have clapped at your genius plan if my hands weren't tied. I retorted. I'm going to make sure Damon is completely destroyed. Great. So can I go already? I asked, sounding bored. No. You're also going to pay because it's your fault that he embarrassed me that day. He said, gathering some weapons, and I laughed. I'd advise you not to use any of that on me. I was acting all tough, but deep down I was breaking down. The silver chains were burning me internally. It was draining me of the little strength I had. I couldn't even use my powers at this point. If he used any of the weapons, which were all mixed with silver, then I was doomed, and so was Damon. Do you know how painful these weapons are? You're going to gnash your teeth in pain, and you won't be able to do anything about it. I'm going to end you. That's the worst pain that would overpower Damon. The death of his mate. It'll be very agonizing. That's the worst thing to happen to any mate. The loss of a mate is hard to get over. Most people become useless after that. Damon wouldn't. You're so petty. Just because of a little punch and disgrace, you're going to kill me to take revenge on Damon. Grow some balls. Oh, this isn't just about that. He took my place. A stupid boy from nowhere that they found in the woods. He took my place. I was supposed to be alpha until he came along. Do you expect me to love him after that? I'm going to end you and then him. You're going to beg me for your life and I wouldn't spare you. That's where you are wrong. I don't beg. It was quite revealing to discover that Damon wasn't originally from the pack. Then where exactly was he from? There was still a mystery around him. I know he was hiding something from me. Well, we'd see about that. He said as he whipped me with a silver whip, and I let out a scream. Damon's POV, I could feel the pain again. She was tormenting her. I couldn't believe that after the security and everything, Law and I still managed to get in. No one even knew what happened. Our drinks must have been drugged. Someone on the inside must have helped her. My heart was shattered when I woke up to see Yana missing. We searched everywhere within the pack's territory. I had even searched surrounding packs, but I wasn't able to find her. I've been going crazy with worry and anger. The frequent torture shows that she's still alive. I could feel every pain she felt. It was killing me that I couldn't save her and had no idea about her whereabouts. I had done everything I could. Sam had conjured all he could, but still there was no idea about her whereabouts. At first Sam had suggested maybe she left. I was shocked to find out that she was planning to leave on the day of her birthday. Why would she want to leave me now when I thought everything was okay? Things weren't going on well in the pack either, as 𝐋𝐮𝐬 had reported me to the council claiming she was pregnant for me, which was obviously a lie because only my mate or a white wolf can carry my young, but they thought I was like an ordinary wolf. The council believed her lies, and she seemed to have falsified the test claiming the child is mine. The result of it was the council proclaiming that I had 3 days to mark her and make her my Luna, and over my dead body was I going to let that happen? I belonged to only one woman. Till death do us part. My beta walked in and I sighed looking up at him. I had tasked everyone with the job of looking for her. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben, 𝐷𝐸𝐳 for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Jonathan. Everyone was helping. I was going sick with worry. I could barely eat or sleep. I've been in my office checking territories that we've covered and the ones still to cover. Any news? I asked him, although I could see from his looks that there wasn't any good one. Not yet, sir. Our men are still searching. I believe we can still find her. he said, and I gave him a curt nod. I was losing it. I had to let out my frustration on something. I dismissed him after having an internal battle with myself. I had initially wanted to hold him down and query him for not being able to do a thing, but I knew he was trying. Everyone was. I have tried severally to reach 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬, but it seemed like she was the one who called the shot. She only appears when she wants to. I think all I had to do was wait and hope that she comes to me and I'd make her an offer she can't refuse. Chapter 41. Damon. It was late at night. Past midnight. I laid in mind recalling memories of us. A sad smile crept on my face. I really want her next to me. I have missed her cuddles and laughter. All I could think of was her. I was frustrated already. 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 should send me a note. Do something. I sighed as I knew I would not be able to sleep that night. I got out of bed and decided to do a quick survey around and see if I'd be able to find out any clue. What happened that night was still a mystery to us all, as no one could clearly recall or did not even have any idea what happened. I jumped out of my window and ran into the woods. One thing was sure. 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 had help on the inside, or had been inside. I then remembered the gown 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬 had gotten. I surely didn't get her that, but I lied to her not to get her worried. Surely 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 must have been the one that sent it. If only I was honest that night. I thought with the high level of security she would have been caught, but was proved wrong. After my unsuccessful wander in the woods, I went back to the office, and to my shock I saw the last person I was expecting to see. Seated on my chair was 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐬 in all her devilish glory. It's not that I had met her before, but the aura she exudes gave me the information I had to know. If it isn't the mighty Damon Salvatore, mate to my one and only sister, she said in a mocking way. I was still shocked as to why she was here, what she wanted, how to respond. Now that you mentioned your sister, where the hell is Liana? I angrily asked. Oh, calm down, Alpha. I was about to ask you the same thing. She looked up at me, anger shining in her eyes. Well, she's not the only one who gets angry. Where are you keeping her? What exactly do you want with her? I raised my voice, banging the table. I need her for something. I came to the party, but I sure as hell didn't take her. I couldn't do anything but laugh. So you expect me to believe that she's not with you and you're not the one that kidnapped her? I asked angrily. Of course I'm not. It seems like I'm not the only one who hates her. The most important thing now is getting her back. We heard the noise. Sam and Jonathan walked in, and Sam, upon seeing her, flew her across the room with a heavy gust of wind. Before she recovered, he was in front of her. He picked her up and pinned her to the wall, straddling her neck. I'm only going to ask this once. Where is she? He asked coldly. Oh, Sam. It's good to see you too. To my identity.丨𝐸 hearts out, thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He asked, banging her head on the wall. Her eyes turned pitch black and she pushed Sam away. Well, I'm going to say it once too. I have no idea where she is. We all surrounded her, ready to pounce if she made a move. I'm not ready to hurt any one of you. On the contrary, I'm here to help you find her. She spoke up. We don't want your help, dear. Jonathan spoke up harshly. I can be of help. I want to help. She sounded desperate. You can help by leaving her the FVCK alone, Sam shouted. I don't know why I felt she was being sincere. I think it's because I've not seen her do anything yet. She couldn't really hate 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬 that much. The threats that 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬 had gotten, and the gown. Were you the one that sent them? I asked, staring at her intently. I did. My anger began to flare up as she said that. She had wanted to hurt 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐬 on the day of her birthday. She probably took her, but is now playing dumb about her whereabouts and claiming to help us find her. I pinned her to the wall in seconds, my hands strangling her neck. Where the hell is she? I banged her head on the wall, still strangling her, not really giving her a chance to speak. I told you I don't know. She screamed, using her powers to push me across the room. I came to the party. Yes, I was going to hurt her, yes, but I didn't take her. We all passed out after the toast, only to find her gone, and that brings us to the fact that I'm not with her. Someone else is her and is hurting her. I don't know who the person is yet, but I'm sure the person must have been from your pack. The question you should be asking yourselves is, who hates her enough to hurt her? Who wants her out of the way? Immediately she said that. Something clicked inside of us and we all chorused 𝐿𝐸𝐳. Not that I thought her capable of doing something like that, but she was the only one that I can think of that wants the honor out of the way, and she wasn't exactly to be trusted. Good. I'd like to have a word with this 𝐿𝐸𝐳 then. What exactly do you want from the honor? Jonathan asked, frustrated. That, my dear, is for me and my dear sister to discuss. I called in 𝐿𝐸𝐳 at dawn. She walked in, her bump extremely obvious. Jonathan and the rest had gone again to search for Yana, leaving just 𝐿𝐸𝐳 and I. Who are you and what do you want with me? 𝐿𝐸𝐳 asked arrogantly. I guess you don't know me then. I'm 𝐿𝐸𝐳. Be honest, sister. Do you happen to know where she may be? She asked calmly. Why should I? I don't have any business with her. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 said, turning to leave. I'm not done with you, young lady. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 pushed her to a chair angrily. She had her chained up in no time. The chain hurting 𝐿𝐸𝐳 badly as it was coated with silver. Be careful. She's pregnant. Worried about the safety of the child. Is it your baby? She angrily asked. No, but... Shut the FVCK up. She angrily said, then turned to look at 𝐿𝐸𝐳. I know you know something. So while I'm still asking nicely, where the hell is Leona? She asked angrily, waving a ball of fire at 𝐿𝐸𝐳. I don't. No. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 stuttered. It was so obvious that she was scared. Well, I tried. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 threw the ball of fire just at the top of 𝐸𝐳's head and she let out a scream. Are you trying to tell me something dark? She asked, circling her hand on her stomach. Please, not my baby. Oh, I won't just kill the baby. I'd kill you. I'm going to ask you for the last time. Where's the honor? I don't know. I felt her fear through her tone and I really couldn't keep calm and watch 𝐿𝐸𝐳 kill her if she was innocent. 𝐿𝐸𝐳's two hands were a ball of hot fire directed at 𝐸𝐳. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 don't. She paid no attention to me, the fire nearly touching 𝐸𝐳's face. Her eyes was wide open in fear as she screamed out a name I wasn't expecting to hear. Simeon. Who's that angel? 𝐿𝐸𝐳 asked with a wicked smile. I was still trying to figure out which of the Simeon she was referring to. If it was the beta Simeon or the omega Simeon. The beta. I think he took her. That's all I know. Please let me go. She begged, crying. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 lowered her hands, ceasing the fire, and started laughing, and all I could think of was killing her and Simeon. And the story keeps on getting better. Interesting. Please let me go. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 begged. Sweetie, not until you tell me all I need to know, she said, smiling devilishly. She raised her hands with fire again and I walked up to her. We know who has her. Let's go get him and leave her alone, I authoritatively said. Don't use your FBC King Alpha tone on me. She still has more to say. I swear I don't. 𝐿𝐸𝐳. I just know he wanted to hurt her to get to you. I promise you, Damon, that's all I know. I don't know if he really took her or where he has her. 𝐿𝐸𝐳. The door sprang open and walked Simeon. I wasted no time in smashing his head on the wall and he wasted no time in retaliating. I see you found out. He smiled wickedly, straddling me to the ground, giving me a punch on the face. Where the hell is she? I asked, punching him furiously on the face. You have to do what I say first, or she dies, he said, bringing out a remote. The look of horror on my face made him smile. All I have to do is press this little red button and off she goes. I snatched the remote from him, careful not to touch the button. Where are you keeping her, Simeon? I angrily asked. I'm not going to tell you, he said, laughing. I stood up, raking my hair with frustration. The next thing I saw was Simeon being pushed around from one end of the room to another. Where's she, Simeon? 𝐿𝐸𝐳 asked as she tossed him around, then stopped. It's going to take more than that for me to tell you, he boasted, and she smiled, saying true. She started burning his feet and he screamed but continued laughing until she stopped. You're not going to kill me. You need me more than I need you. He laughed wickedly and I was angry because it was true. I'm not even afraid of dying. If you kill me, you'd never find her. So listen to my proposal. What the hell do you want, Simeon? I angrily asked. Sign out. Resign your position as Alpha and I take you to her. 𝐿𝐸𝐳 turned to me first before she started burning his feet again. I'd like to know who'd respect a crippled alpha, she said, smiling. I'd sign it. I'd leave the pack. Just tell me where she is. I knew the desperation in my voice was very evident and I didn't care. A scream startled us and we all turned to look at 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐸. I guess her water broke. Her fear might have something to do with it. I rushed to 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐸's side, loosening the chains from her as she continued to scream. We have to take her to the hospital, I said, turning to look at 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐸, who was looking lost. I called her again and she was at my side, telling 𝐿𝐲𝐬𝐸 to be calm and just breathe in and out. I'm going to press the little button and off she goes. I must have dropped the remote when I rushed to 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸. 𝐿𝐲𝐸's scream was neglected to the background as my scream overtook her as Simeon pressed the button. Chapter 42. I pounced on him, but it was too late. The deed had already been done. We got into a brawl and all I could think of was killing him. He brought out a dagger and I was careful to dodge his hit. You're just a strange bastard that deserved to die. He spat. I couldn't control it. My wolf took over as my claws appeared. My eyes pitch black as I used my claws to scratch his chest. I rose him from the ground, strangling his neck, raising him up in the air as he struggled to breathe. I violently threw him across the room. Where is she? I demanded, using a tone superior to my alpha tone that he wasted no time to reply. She's in the woods. There's an underground bunker up north. There's no use. She's dead. Just as you will be. His dagger pierced into my calf and I wasted no time shredding him to pieces with my claws. I'm going to get her. I paid no attention to the pain I felt on my legs. It was nothing to what I felt in my heart at the thought of losing her. I couldn't get a connection to her. I couldn't feel her. All I had was hope that she was fine. The door opened and in came Jonathan. Sam. What the hell happened? They chorused. There's no time for explanation. We have to go find her. Please. My BAA by. 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸 begged. To my agent extraordinaire, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Please get her to the hospital. Arya rushed her side. Her and 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸 helping her up. Chase went to call the doctor while Sam, Jonathan and I made move to go find 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸. I'm coming with you. I turned to 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸. I wanted to argue, but I didn't want to waste any more time than we've wasted. We shifted to our wolf form and went to the location. Before we got there I could see the fumes from the fire. He really did it. I controlled my thoughts not to think negatively. She could still be there, waiting for me to find her. I raced faster, ignoring the pain in my leg. If I could save her, everything else will be okay. The lock leading to the bunker was open and I could see the blazing fire beneath. I jumped and made my way in. She has to be here somewhere. The rest followed as we made our way through the fire. 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸 and Sam clearing our path by using their powers. We got to the end of the small room and there was no sign of 𝐿𝐲𝐸𝐸. Just the sign of heavy silver chains. I crumbled on the floor as the connection between us was waning. She couldn't be dead, could she? The honor, if you can hear me, please hang on. I can't lose you. I've not even showed you how much I love you. Heck, I haven't even marked or mated with you. Please hang on. Had she burnt and all that was remaining was the chains? You can't die so easily. We have eternity to wait. I haven't even made you my queen yet. I tried telepathy, although I know our connection was not strong because we haven't mated. I'm going to mark her and make her mine when I see her. She can't be dead. I'd search around. She must be here somewhere. I paid no attention to what they were saying. I walked out of the bunker calling and shouting her name, but there was no reply. She shouldn't be dead. She can't leave me like that. I shifted into my wolf and ran, scanning the area for her scent. I believed I was able to find her. I searched everywhere I could around the area, and on getting to the bank of a river I saw her body lying hopelessly on the ground. I immediately shifted to my human form, calling to others that I found her. I placed my ear on her chest and could still hear her heart beating faintly. There was still hope. I held her hands and told her to hang on. The rest of them came running along and Sam took her from me to attend to her, and we gave him space. I really hope she gets better, Arya said, giving my shoulder a gentle squeeze. She will. She knows better than to leave me, I said, trying to make light of the situation. We rushed her back to my house as soon as her breathing turned normal. She wasn't awake yet, but I knew she would survive this. I sighed as I sat on the bed next to her. What has it been? A week since I last saw her. I was feeling a lot of things happiness. 𝐿𝐿𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing 𝐃𝐥𝐳𝐸𝐵. Pain. Sadness. Why did she have to go through all this? The worst of all was that it was someone I wasn't expecting to hurt her that did. He was right under my nose all those time, not her sister. Her sister is another case entirely. Why is she here? What's her plan? I had her placed in a cell with Sam and other guards watching her. I didn't trust her here. Liana groaned in pain, moving slightly in discomfort, and I reached out to hold her hand reassuringly. She stayed put as I soothed her. It has been an hour already. I hope she wakes up soon. She was stirring in her sleep, mumbling incoherent words, and I kept on holding her. She opened her eyes slowly, trying to sit upright. Slowly, baby. I assisted her in sitting upright, noticing the discomfort it brought her. Damon, she said slowly, as if seeking conviction that it was truly me. Yes, Lee. I sat on the bed and enveloped her in a hug. My head hurts. She closed her eyes slowly and opened it back. I called in the pack doctor and she gave her some pain relief medicine to ease the pain. Damon. Simeon. She tried warning me as soon as the doctor left. Sure. It's fine, baby. He's dead. Everything is fine. I didn't want to tell her 𝐿𝐷𝐸 was here. I didn't want to stress her the more. She just nodded a little and lay back on the bed slowly, and before I knew it she had slept. She looked extremely weak with bruises all over her body. I would have tortured Simeon for a lifetime if he wasn't already dead. Chapter 43. I've been walking around in circles trying to find my way home, but I was lost. I was walking around aimlessly. There were lots of things going on around me, but it felt as if I wasn't there. People were fighting all around. Darkness consumed the thick forest and dead bodies laid all around. A figure appeared walking towards me, but the mist of the forest prevented me from seeing who it was. As the figure became closer, I saw who it was. It was no one other than 𝐿𝐷𝐸, but what happened next shocked me. I expected her to come at me with all the weapons ever created, but when she was in front of me she fell on her feet, bowing her head, and when she raised it up her eyes were red. Her face was puffy. She looked like she had been crying. She looked pitiful, and for a second I pitied her, and then she said something I've never thought of her saying. Please help me. I looked at her in confusion and I saw some people running towards her. Please help me. I beg you. She pulled my legs and begged me, like her life depended on it. I looked at her in confusion and woke up with that same confusion on my face. What was that all about? Hey, what's wrong? Damon asked as I sat upright. I had the weirdest dream ever. I wiped the sleep off my face, trying to wipe the dream out of my head as well. What happened? He looked scared. It was so weird. I saw 𝐿𝐷𝐸. I saw him tensed. She was running from someone. She knelt down in front of me and begged me to help her. I thought he would have eased up a bit hearing that nothing serious happened, but he still looked tense. Is there anything wrong? I asked, watching him intently. There's something you need to know. He started slowly. Why did I think I wasn't going to like this? Is it something related to 𝐿𝐷𝐸? What did she do again? As if answering my question, he answered, She's here. I immediately sat upright. What's she doing here? Where is she? What does she want? I remembered the letter she sent the last time. What's her plan this time around? She's in the dungeon. Sam and our guards are watching her. She really wants to speak with you. I looked at him like he was crazy for thinking that she wanted to sincerely talk to me. After everything she has put me through, she wants to talk. What does she want to talk about? I can't even listen to her. She has done a lot of evil things. Killed a lot of people, and if she was in any form of trouble then she deserved it. Lee. I looked at him and then remembered my dream. What sort of trouble could she be in, and why does she need my help? I won't even help her. Not after all what she has put me through. She needs to leave Damon. She's trouble. I don't want to have anything to do with her. How could she imagine that I would want to talk to her? She helped in trying to find you. You know, she tortured him before I killed him. I don't care, Damon. She just helped because she wants something from me. She's going to discard me when she's done. I think it's time I fulfill this prophecy and get on with my life. I was tired of all of this. I just wanted to be with Damon, mate with him and have his children. All of this was getting in the way. I don't trust her either. I know what she's capable of. I want all of this to end and to just be with you without any disturbance or trouble. You've been through a lot. I just want you to live, to be with me without any obstacles on our way, and for that to happen we need to get rid of 𝐿𝐻. I've contacted the other alphas. They are on their way with their armies. We're going to take her down. She hasn't harmed us yet, but there was no way to tell that she wouldn't. I just want this to end, Damon. I'm really tired. I'm tired of running. I just wanted this to end badly. I'm done. Come here, baby. I moved closer to him and he hugged me and gave me a kiss on my head. It will be over sooner than you think. I closed my eyes and sighed. I had a feeling it will all be over soon too. There was a knock on the door and Arya and Chase waked in. 𝐿𝐻, good to see you're all right. They chorused and Arya gave me a light pat on the back. Arya looked at Damon and it felt like they were communicating something and he nodded. I wanted to be able to communicate like that with Damon. There were a lot of things I wanted to do with him. I hope we get to do them soon. So I guess you already know that 𝐿𝐻 is here. Arya started and I nodded. You'll have to see her soon. She's begging to see you. What on earth does she want me for? I listened as Chase described how she was begging for us to talk. I don't want to see her. I need to rest. Chase and Arya nodded and left. The whole thing was tiring me already. Come here. He held me stroking my hair till I fell asleep. I opened my eyes and my whole body was aching me. It will take a while for me to heal fully from this. I stared at the scars on my body and sighed. This really needs to be over soon. Damon was lying next to me and watching him sleep put a smile on my face. I love him and although our mate bond wasn't really strong, it was better than how it first was. I can't wait to mate with him and have his mark on my body. I craved him more every day. Why doesn't he just want us to mate? A lot of things were just frustrating me. What's annoying you so early in the morning? I didn't even notice that he was awake already. Why don't you want to mate with me? Why don't you want to mark me? I blurted. I want to meet 𝐿𝐻. Believe me, but you are not ready for it yet. You can't handle it. What was he talking about here? I thought with a shy smile. Can't handle what exactly? I asked mockingly. You can't handle me. All of me. He jokingly said, gesturing at his body, and I laughed. You're not prepared for it. There are still some things you don't know yet. His expression was serious. I know Damon was hiding something from me. Like how his name wasn't really Damon and things about his family. I really wanted to know and just wished he will tell me already. There was also the tattoo on his chest. I needed explanation. This isn't the time to be keeping secrets. I don't know yet because you haven't told me about it. I started softly. Was it that he didn't trust me? I trust you, baby. He answered as if reading my mind. I'll tell you all about it tonight. She's becoming difficult to control. Maybe you should just come see her, Jonathan announced, barging in. Fine. It's time I got to know what she wanted. I was curious already, but even more curious to find out what Damon was keeping. It's time for me to confront her, to discover the secret they keep.